Burnedead, an unnatural being who possesses enormous physical prowess, lives deep inside a forest. In this world where using magic is the natural order, there exists he who remains powerless, though the strength he does possess might be far superior to magic. After benching extremely heavy weights with a speed that shouldn't be humanly possible, he always loves a good cream puff. Burnedead, the 75-year-old father that found this force of nature, lives along with Mash in the forest. Living away from humans, he claims to have learned to combat the stress caused by his son's antics. Though even all this experience dealing with Mash isn't enough to stop him from raging at Mash still. Rightfully so, as the latter breaks the front door for seemingly the 1,000th time while trying to enter his own house. Mash feels sorry and tries to fix the door by putting it back, but ends up breaking it in the process. Witnessing this, gives up and just offers his son some tea. Later, the two are sitting sipping tea when Mash suddenly asks his father why all his training consists of physical training instead of magical one. Hearing this, wonders how to tell his son that he can't use any magic and isn't normal, deciding against it and putting off his question. Afterwards, heads out to run some errands and reminds Mash never to head into the city alone without him. The son promises his father to heed his advice and the latter heads out. In reality, however, Mash really wants some cream puffs, and the call of his empty stomach makes him unable to keep his promise. Immediately after his father heads out, Mash dashes toward the city, having hidden his face using a hood. Wandering through the streets, he sees everyone using magic to do everyday tasks. Though instead of getting impressed, Mash just wonders why they are putting in so much effort for something they could just accomplish using his hands. The unnatural boy then arrives at a bakery, quenching his fist in excitement. He orders 7 of their limited cream puffs and hands the store owner the payment in coins. However, Mash ends up putting too much force while quenching his hand, bending the coins in the process. This is a no problem though, as the boy bends the coin back to their original shape using his hands. The store owner, who witnessed all this live, freaks out upon seeing the display of strength. Having fixed his payment, Mash successfully acquires the cream puffs and begins heading out. Just then, a wild breeze blows through there, lifting his hood and revealing his face. In this magical world, everyone has a black line mark on their face that shows their magical prowess. As Mash can't use any magic, he also doesn't have a mark. Looking on at this markless boy standing before them, the people of the city are distraught for some reason. Ignoring all the attention he has attracted, Mash takes a stroll around the city, munching on his cream puffs. Just then, he runs into Brad Coleman, an officer of the magic police force that is looking for an unmarked boy. Having found his target, he approaches Mash but gets interrupted by who grabs his son and runs off into the distance. Breaking into a crazy laugh, Brad remarks that it's his chance for a promotion and sends a magical creation behind them to keep tabs on the father-son duo. Back at their house in the forest, scolds Mash for disregarding his warnings but can't stay mad at him when his son apologizes and looks very sad. Mash then heads out for training while contemplates what he should do now that the magic police has caught wind of them. Just then, Brad and his peers break into the house and inquire about Mash's location. In the meantime, the boy finishes his intense workout and heads back to the house, where on the other hand, Mash completes his intense routine in 5 minutes and heads back. However, he overhears the officers beating up his father to get info on him, not getting anything. As an abandoned infant with no mark, Mash unknowingly stopped the useless from taking his own life in the past and created an everlasting bond between the two. Upholding their bond, refuses to give Mash up and shouts at his son to make a run for it, despite getting tortured more and more as time passes. Frustrated, Bard charges up an attack to finish the old man off, but gets stopped by Mash, breaking the door once again to barge into his house. Easily taking out the 2 underlings, the boy apologizes to his father for being selfish and declared to send the former member of the Bureau of Magic Security Force, Bard Coleman, to hell. Mash gets hit with a charged up magic spell, but easily deflects it with his bare hands. This attack that took out a dragon once had no effect on the boy. Mash's agitated opponent then launches every spell he knows at him, having no concern about the damage it would do. The boy just makes light work of it while making a fool out of Bard. He then uses his father's magic wand in an unconventional manner, throwing it at his opponent and defeating him. The boy then gets an offer from his opponent. Once a year, a divine visionary is chosen amongst the students in magic schools. As this implies acceptance from God himself, society would have no choice but to do the same. Brad wants to back Mash in making him a divine visionary, as he will get unprecedented fame and fortune if he does help. As the other option is to get hunted by the police forces for the rest of his life, the boy accepts the deal to continue his peaceful life with his father. disapproves at first, but listening to his son's words melts him like butter soon enough. Later, Mash has gotten a fake mark on his face and stands in front of a magic academy, vowing to crush this venture with his fist. Episode 2. The Easton Magic Academy is a historic and prestigious school, having a less than 3% acceptance rate. Mash stands in this academy's grounds, pumping some weights and perplexing and onlookers at the sight, including Claude Lucci, the examiner and this year's 7th best magic user. Brad and Rigro are also there trying to mix in with the crowd, but miserably failing as their disguise can barely be considered one. Eventually, the examiner reveals himself and announces the start of the first exam. Using his magic, he summons desks and test papers as the 30-minute exam finally begins. Of course, it isn't as simple as a plain written test, and the paper has been imbued with magic, making the questions move around. To solve the exam, the students need to dispel the magic. During the test, Mash gets frustrated at the words moving and menacingly tells them to stop, much to Brad and Rigro and the examiner's surprise. The words listen, and Mash is the first one to complete the examination. Using his immense physical prowess, the boy continues to breeze through the trials. Unable to accept that a slacker who is munching off cream puffs every opportunity he gets is going to pass, Claude sets up the ultimate test. He creates a trap-ridden maze around the applicants inside, making the goal to escape within 30 minutes. Mash thinks the test is very easy when suddenly a timid blonde girl named Lemon Irvine comes up to him and asks to team up. She somehow manages to convince the uninterested boy to work together. During their stroll together, the girl deceives and cuffs the boy. However, he easily breaks out and leaves her behind. Lemon wants to pursue him, but the guardian of the maze, Sphinx, appears there and asks a riddle that needs to be answered for the applicant to live. Not knowing the answer, the girl now faces certain death, though Mash saves her as he feels sorry for abandoning her. Outside the maze, Claude grins at his scheme of recruiting Lemon to stop the boy from succeeding, as the time is almost up. Just then, however, the magic-protected 1-meter thick walls start getting broken apart. It is none other than Mash who reaches the goal in time by smashing his way through. Seeing this, the other applicants criticize the boy, but Lemon defends him. Having developed a crush on Mash, she reveals how the examiner recruited her to get in the boy's way and offered to pass her in exchange. With the truth out, Claude remarks that he will fail both Mash and Lemon using his powers as examiners, and that they can only challenge his decision via a duel. As he takes out his wand to show off, Mash instantly closes the distance and breaks it. Suddenly, the headmaster Wahlberg appears and dismisses Claude as the overseer of the exam. He also takes charge of the final interviews and picks Mash to be the first one up. He then teleports him to the final room, where a council of mages are seated. After a series of questions, the last test is at hand. Mash gets asked what he will do if he ever faces an opponent far stronger than him. In order to learn the boy's answer, Wahlberg casts a spell, boding Rigro's soul with a doll that is about to get stabbed by a knife. Not having enough strength to launch away the knife, Mash prevents his father from dying by using his bare hands to stop the knife's descent, getting stabbed himself in the process. Seeing the boy's strong resolve and his willingness to protect, the headmaster enrolls the boy, and so Mash's school life begins. Being a troublemaker who uses physical prowess to overcome all tasks that need magic, he becomes roommates with Finn Ames. Mash asks his newly gotten roommate how he can become a divine visionary. Finn explains that he will have to excel at all the classes, tests, and extracurricular activities to gain gold coins, and the one with the largest amount at the end of the school is granted the title, overwhelming Mash with what the future holds. Mash goes to his first broom riding lesson, needing to borrow one from his roommate Finn. At the class, the students use magic to lift the brooms into their hands. Unable to do the same, the boy gets approached by a bully who calls him out. The latter then challenges him for a broom race, with the stakes that the loser has to listen to the winner for the rest of their stay at the academy. As the boy accepts, the class teacher intermediates the contest and announces the start of the race. However, as soon as it began, the contest is over. Mash reaches the finish line in an instant, setting a new world record for the fastest speed ever. As everyone is confused at what happened, Finn sees the truth. Mash chucked his broom into the air as the race began and mounted it midair, using his physical prowess to do the impossible. Just then, the bully starts ranting about Mash cheating, though he gets stopped by another boy named Lloyd Cavil, who invites the boy to come into the field after class and leaves. Later, Mash asks Finn why everyone seemed to be afraid of the boy who approached him. He gets told that Lloyd is the son of a high-ranking bureau member and has the vice principal's backing, forcing everyone to obey him no matter what. Afterwards, however, Mash forgets to go to the field after class, enraging the bureau member's son. From that day on, Mash's textbooks start to get damaged, and Lloyd makes him do his chores under the guise of putting in a good word for him and helping him become a divine visionary. One day, having his notebook messed up again, Mash sits beside Finn to share his notebook and remarks how much of a good friend the latter is, making him feel guilty for some reason. Sometime later, Mash comes up on a bloodied Finn getting beaten down by Lloyd in the academy hallway. Upon getting asked what is going on, the roommate starts crying. He apologizes, confessing that it was him that messed up Mash's textbooks and is now getting beaten down for refusing to comply with Lloyd any further. Hearing this, the magicless boy smashes the bully's head sent into the ground. As he does so, the vice principal foreman arrives there and reprimands him for his violent attack on a student. Seeing the man being unreasonable, Mash strikes him with a knee to the face and buries him into the ground. Later, the boy gets summoned by the headmaster for his actions, having a notice from the Bureau of Magic to expel him immediately. However, Wahlberg burns it up and refuses to punish someone who has done no wrong. He expresses his hope in someone as caring as Mash one day becoming a divine visionary, telling the boy to excel in class activities to achieve his goal. Afterwards, Mash becomes known as someone who beat up the infamous Lloyd and the vice principal. He then gets approached by the Duello MVP Tom Knowles and is recruited to represent the Adler dorm in a broom race to earn 6 silver coins. Though things don't look so good as the race begins, with Mash being stuck on the ground, unable to fly the broom. The end for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recaps. And while you're at it, check out this new anime recap appearing on the screen.